Well, good morning. This little video clip I want to share with you is just about Panama, about moving to Panama, my experience moving to Panama, and what I could recommend to other people. We're living in this period, this transition period, in between of sort of the old world and this new world that we are headed to. We are headed in westernized countries. Things are changing very much. They're also changing in these countries that were one time considered more third world. They're really not. They're not. And Panama is set for growth, I think about 3.3% growth, economic growth, over the next year. Where if you're a Canadian or a US citizen, that is not what's going to happen in those countries. I hear in Canada, the Bank of Canada is going to cut again, which is going to, yes, cut your interest rate, but it makes your dollar have less worth. And that's an issue. And quality of life issues when it comes to health and well-being. And I mean, you can move down here at any age because there are different visas that you can get. And as I said, this is a country that is experiencing economic growth. People are investing here because it is on an isthmus that connects South America with North America. And it has the canal that goes through it. And it has the most diverse areas in it. Like where I live right now, if you were to go up to the Volcan Mountain, Volcan Burra, it's called. If you stand at the top of that mountain, volcanic mountain, you can actually see the Pacific Ocean on one and the Caribbean on the other. So it has the Caribbean on the one side and the Pacific Ocean on the other. And then a heartland that I'm in right now. I'm near the Pacific Ocean of agriculture. So the food is phenomenal. I was talking to a woman not too long ago, last week, that has recently moved here from Georgia. They're looking around at different places because you can live on the ocean where it's hot and sunny for most of the year, except for in the rainy season, or you can live up in the more sort of rainforest areas or cooler areas up in the mountains. So she had come from Georgia and she had, chronic gut problems, which is very common in westernized country. And of course, I have my theory on that. And 3 weeks here eating the food here, the stomach problems disappeared. Yeah, because of the stuff they're putting in your foods, right? It's having negative effect on health. So I moved here back in September 2022, and I used the help. Of course, I researched before I came. I looked at economic growth. Now, there was some hitches. There was a protest here that lasted a very long time, actually, about 46 days, and it shut down this corridor, this road corridor. And also the mine was shut down. Whatever you feel about that, is it a good thing or bad thing? It shut down, and that had economic consequences. So its rating went down. It was really supposed to grow quite more. So I looked at what was happening in Canada. I didn't like what I was seeing, government seizing bank accounts and treating people like terrorists when, in my mind, it's the other way around. So I did some research, and then I watched videos on YouTube. These are free videos you can watch. Panama relocation tours. And they have two options. You can buy a book, actually, a guide. It's a godsend. That's what I did. I didn't come on a tour with them. You can. I highly recommend them. There's another one. Let me just put my glasses on. And I use these guys, too, to help me to get a vehicle and to get my license, my driver's license. Retire in Panama. So there's Panama relocation tours, and I'll link in their website. And then Retire in Panama, which is another great one. So they both do good work. The Panama Relocation Tours has the guide that I bought, and it had everything you would ever need to know about moving here, right? And what you need to do and the steps that you take. And she gives you really great vetted contacts here in this country. The immigration lawyer that she recommended is wonderful. He's just great. Did a great job, like everything, took care of everything. And the cost was not was not prohibitive. That's many reasons why people come here, because the cost is so good. It's US dollars. So I'll put the links in at the end with that. So I came in September, so I was sort of in the rainy season, the quieter season, and I bought a condo because I sold everything. I really went minimalist. I found myself back in sort of the beginning of the COVID era in this great big house full of all this stuff, just me, right? Because I'd moved from one house to another, was renovating that house. I like to renovate older houses. And looked around and said, you know, it's like living in a goddamn museum. Why am I doing this? I need none of this stuff. And I did. I got rid of it all. Sold that house, as I said, moved up to the bush for a while. It was way too isolating up there, and I didn't want to be in minus 36. It was not my cup of tea. So that's when I started researching Panama at a suggestion of a friend of mine, actually, that was looking the same thing. So I came for a vacation for 2 weeks, and really liked what I saw, and you kind of liken it to where I lived in Ontario back in the 60s and 70s, especially in this rural little area. Now in the city of Panama itself, it's like any large city, right? This is not a third world country. The people get paid like a third world country, but it is a first class country. It's very civilized. I quite like it. I love it. I love the way that people get along here. So then after I had been here for 2 weeks, I rented the condo that I eventually bought, and then decided, yeah, this is the spot. I'll come and stay here for a while. And I did, right? I still have the condo. I don't live down at the beach anymore. I decided it's a huge party area. It really is. I mean, people come to vacation and stuff like that. So I'm doing Airbnb with that. And moved to this other little area not very far away from Playa La Barqueta on the Pacific coast in David, just outside of David. It'd be about, I don't know, 60,000 people maybe. I might be giving it more. And Boqueta, it's near that. So Boqueta is an area where a lot of expats go because it's beautiful. It's like spring all the time. I find it too rainy. I could not live there in the wet season because it just rains all the time. So now I'm living in a 3-bedroom home. It's an older home. It was put on in sections, really lovely. It's got mango trees and avocado trees. It's got scorpions too and bugs. But I must say the mosquitoes don't bother me here like they used to bother me in Ontario. Are there mosquitoes? Yes. So for this little house that I rent, it's $380 a month, maybe $8 for electricity. I don't have air conditioning at this place. I do at the place. Of course, most places have air conditioning, but this is an old house, an old casa. So it does not have air conditioning. So $380 for that, $8 for hydro, because I don't use a lot of hydro, and then high-speed internet. It has everything that you would want anywhere else. So I would say that my total expenses for both the place on the beach, because that's only $92 because I paid it outright, so $92 a month, right, the fees, the condo fees. And here, say all in all, I pay for somebody to come and cut the grass because it's a big yard, about $500, right? $500. So say $700 if you put it into Canadian terms. And it's I don't know if you can hear the background. Where I am, you know, you wake up to the sounds of chickens. Chickens are everywhere. And if you hit one on the road, it's $15. Makes sense. There's people use them for their eggs and then butcher them for their chicken. And this is a little rural farming area that I'm in. Horses everywhere. I love it. See the old gents out on the road, and young. They all have their cell phones. So it's like this pairing of old and new. So in Panama, family is everything. Family is just everything, right? And it has very traditional gender roles. It hasn't gone cucamongo to push an agenda, transhumanism, you know, transgender, trans, the whole thing. So here, very masculine males and very feminine females. I like that. I think it's the way it's supposed to be, to tell you the truth. No offense to anybody, which people do get offended. I like that. This is my opinion, and it's what I like. I like what I see here, right? I like how I see how children are everything in the family. To see, is there problems here? Drugs and alcohol? There's problems here. Drinking's big, and drinking Coca-Cola and terrible diets and stuff. Though the food is good, they've entered the poison and a real reliance on medicina. So if you ever move here and you're worried about, is there doctors, yes, there is a very robust medical system. There's a public system and a private system. Now I haven't gone because I don't go near them. I just don't go near them. I'm a nurse. If anything happens, I can figure it out. I'm not going to a hospital. Somebody was telling me, because there's a lot of people that have stomach problems from eating fatty foods and drinking, they're taking out a lot of gallbladders. And women don't really have natural childbirth here. It is typically they're given cesarean sections. So there is a profit margin not margarine, butter. Because that's the industry. And these are all usually U.S. trained. They go to the U.S. for training. The people I love, Panamanian people, I just do. I love them. They have these courtesies they just do. If you're on a bus, you're a woman, you're standing, and I like that. That's chivalry. They open a door for you. Everybody says hello, like, hola, I do. I mean, sometimes people are a little standoffish to people from other countries because maybe they haven't been treated so well from people from other countries. Because if you're coming here thinking it's going to be like where you came from, it's not. To me, I liken it to the Wild West, and I like that. Because you see, people in westernized countries have gotten mind controlled by safe this, safe that, safe and effective, safe. Nothing's safe. Life is not safe. To live life is not safe. If you're living safe, you're not really living. You're dead walking around because life is not safe. And here there's an element of... So governments are really good with their nudge units that I've told you about to make people into adult children, infantilize, right? It's not your fault. You've been programmed to be that way. And that some paternal or figure, like an adult figure, needs to tell you what to do. And AI pretty soon will be doing that. AI will be your papa, be telling you what to do. Here it's not like that. People have individuated because most of them started working when they were children, right, to bring money into the family. That's how desperate it is. The Aboriginal people here, they don't get money from the government. They don't get any kind of stuff. There's no Indian Act. Yeah, everybody else is racist, but Canadian government has the Indian Act. Doesn't happen like that, right? Most of them are incredibly, you watch them on these mountain roads, and the air is thinner there. You try hiking it, up and down. It's just amazing. And this world runs like the world that, I was nursing, so I was always up at 5 in the morning, and then education and all that while I was raising kids. I was up at 5. Now I'm up at 5 when I go to visit my daughter. The rest of the world doesn't come alive until 9:30. Here is booming. It's booming, right? And right now we're in summer. And what you'll find in summer here, the humidity goes down. So it becomes very hot and dry and cool in the morning. You get these beautiful, fresh mornings. It really is God's country. So I recommend anybody who's living in a country, and this is any age group, I recommend it to older people because I'm an older person, believe it or not. 20-year-old here. Like, I don't feel old. I feel timeless. We are timeless. And I want to get in further with one of my videos talking about how our perceptions of aging create how we age. And there was a landmark study, you don't hear much about it, of a woman that did a study on taking people back in time, what they believe and what they perceive and how that affected their bodies. So in this country, older people are revered. They're seen as the elders, the wise ones. You would never do anything to harm them. You would never question the wisdom of what they had to say because of their years lived. Now, granted, there are some older people in Canada I wouldn't listen to either that have, I don't know, sold their soul to something. And it isn't very good what they've sold their soul to. But that's not everywhere. And that's not, really, wisdom comes from experience. Knowledge, you can have information at any, but it's living and living through things and living well and living a quality of life that is wisdom. And so here, elderly people are treated with respect. Actually, all people. That's why people walk with their back to traffic, because they don't think anybody's going to come up and kill them. Right? It's a whole different. So check it out, and I will leave the links for the two places that I used both, the guide at one and the other. And as I said, there's different visas. The visa I have is the Pendioso visa, because I get the Canada Pension Plan and the Hoop Pension. I'm very lucky. And I think it's over $1,000 US in pensions that you can provable, can give you this Pendioso visa. And with that visa, my air flight, when I go anywhere, is 25% off. So I use Copa. I really like Copa Airlines. They do a good job. And other things, like there are other things that you can get reductions on because of this visa, but there's ones that you can get too for just buying property here, and there are lots of properties. If you spent, I think the has to be 200,000, I think, to buy a property, and you get like a nice property. It's different here though, buying and selling. Things stay in the market. It's not a hot market, but I can see things changing. Area I'm in, they're now planning a train that will come from a fast train from Panama City to this area, because it takes it's an 8-hour car drive or an hour by plane. So this will really open up this area, and it'll shoot the prices of real estate up, because now they sit. I actually have my condo up for sale, and it's sat for about a year. I want to do something different. I don't think I want to own anything anymore. I travel around a little bit in Panama because I like it. I like what I see happening here, and I think it's a great place to consider if you want to be a digital nomad, because you can. With the Pendioso visa, you can't. There are different job restrictions for anybody that comes here. There are job restrictions. So if you're digital online, it makes sense. There's other. There's like you can incorporate yourself too. I think that's a $5,000, but it's in this guide that you get that gives you all the information. And as I said, both of them will provide the same service. It's just that I use the Panama Relocation Guide. So have a good day. Think about doing something different, whatever age you're in. Remember that quality of life, you have to have a quality of life, right? If there's no quality of life, then you've stopped living. And if you feel that you have to be safe and bubble wrapped, no. I mean, you have to be responsible, right? Not be responsible. But don't rely on safety. Rely on living. That's what really counts. So I'll put the links for these at the end of when I post this, because I think it's important to do different things. Take care. Have a good day.